The Siege of Tyre, conquering the unconquerable. Tyre, a prosperous Phoenician city, was renowned for its strategic coastal location and thriving trade. Before Alexander's siege, it was a hub of commerce and culture, famous for its production of the coveted Tyrian purple dye. This made Tyre a significant and wealthy city in the ancient world. Imagine being faced with an impossible task, a city that had withstood every invader for centuries, protected by high walls and the endless sea. Tyre was an island fortress, its massive stone walls rising directly from the water, making any direct assault nearly impossible. Most would give up, but not Alexander the Great. This is the story of the Siege of Tyre, where determination and ingenuity turned the unconquerable into a legendary victory. Tyre's strategic location and formidable defenses made it a prize worth capturing, but also a challenge that seemed insurmountable. Let's rewind to 332 BCE. This was a time of great upheaval and transformation in the ancient world. Empires rose and fell, and the landscape of power was constantly shifting. In the midst of this chaos, one figure stood out: Alexander the Great. Alexander had just secured much of the Persian Empire's territory, but Tyre remained defiant. This ancient city, with its strategic location and formidable defenses, was a thorn in Alexander's side. The Persian Empire, once a colossal force, was now crumbling under his relentless campaigns, yet Tyre stood resilient. This wasn't just any city, it was a symbol of resistance. Tyre was renowned for its wealth, its powerful navy, and its impregnable walls. The city had a long history of defying conquerors, and its people were fiercely proud of their independence. To Alexander, conquering Tyre was not just a military objective, it was a statement. Tyre's leaders refused to submit to Alexander, and their island location gave them every reason to feel invincible. The city was situated on an island half a mile from the mainland, surrounded by the sea, and protected by massive walls. Its navy controlled the waters, making any direct assault seem impossible. Now put yourself in Alexander's shoes. You're 24 years old, leading an army far from home, and this single city is blocking your path to total dominance. How do you respond? The weight of expectation and the drive for glory must have been immense. Every decision you make is scrutinized by your men, your enemies, and history itself. You're 24 years old, leading an army far from home, and this single city is blocking your path to total dominance. How do you respond? For Alexander, the answer was clear. He would not be deterred by the seemingly insurmountable challenge. His mind was set on victory, and he began to devise a plan that would go down in history. For Alexander, retreat was never an option. His entire career had been built on bold moves and audacious strategies. He had faced overwhelming odds before and emerged victorious. The Siege of Tyre would be no different. He was determined to break the city's spirit and bring it under his control. Before Tyre, Alexander had already demonstrated his strategic brilliance in battles like Issus and Gaugamela. These victories had cemented his reputation as a military genius. His ability to outmaneuver and outthink his enemies was legendary. Each battle was a testament to his tactical prowess and his unyielding will. His ability to adapt and innovate on the battlefield was unmatched, and his ambition knew no bounds. Alexander's Siege of Tyre would test all his skills and push him to the limits of his ingenuity. It was a defining moment in his campaign, one that would showcase his relentless drive and his capacity for overcoming the impossible. Tyre wasn't just any island, it sat half a mile offshore, with walls rising 150 feet above the sea. Its navy dominated the waters, making a direct assault nearly impossible. For months, Tyre's people watched from their walls, confident that Alexander couldn't touch them. Most commanders might have given up or moved on to an easier target, but Alexander, he saw an opportunity to prove that no obstacle was too great. He declared, "If we cannot get to the city, we will bring the city to us." Alexander's plan was bold and unprecedented. He envisioned a feat of engineering that would connect the mainland to the island city of Tyre, a task that had never been attempted on such a scale before. He ordered his men to construct a causeway, a massive land bridge stretching from the mainland to Tyre. This was no small task. It required immense resources and unwavering determination. Day by day, soldiers worked tirelessly, hauling rocks, sand, and timber into the water, inching closer to the city. The work was grueling and relentless, but the soldiers pressed on, driven by the vision of their leader. The engineering challenges were immense. They had to deal with the depth of the water, the shifting sands, and the relentless waves. Each day brought new obstacles, but the engineers and soldiers adapted, finding innovative solutions to keep the project moving forward. Can you imagine the exhaustion, the frustration? The soldiers faced physical and mental fatigue, yet they continued to push forward, knowing that their efforts were crucial to the success of Alexander's campaign. The soldiers' daily life was grueling. They set up camps, cooked their meals, and rested in makeshift tents. Despite the harsh conditions, they found moments of camaraderie and solidarity, which helped them endure the hardships. Tyre's defenders weren't sitting idle. They watched the progress of the causeway with growing concern and prepared to defend their city with all their might. They launched fire ships and rained arrows on Alexander's men, trying to destroy the causeway. The defenders of Tyre were determined to protect their city, and they used every tactic at their disposal to hinder the construction. Yet, Alexander's determination was infectious. He inspired his men with his unwavering resolve and strategic brilliance, motivating them to overcome the seemingly insurmountable challenges they faced. His soldiers, inspired by their leader's vision, kept going. They worked together with a sense of purpose and unity, knowing that their efforts were part of a grander plan to achieve victory and secure their place in history. As the causeway grew, so did Tyre's resistance. The Tyrians were not about to give up their city without a fight. They were known for their resilience and ingenuity, and they used every resource at their disposal to thwart Alexander's plans. The construction of the causeway was a monumental task, but the defenders of Tyre were equally determined to stop it. They used every trick in the book to slow Alexander down, including fire ships to burn the causeway. These fire ships were loaded with combustible materials and set ablaze, then sent drifting towards the causeway to set it on fire. The Tyrians also launched constant attacks from their walls and ships, making the construction process incredibly dangerous and difficult. But here's where his ingenuity shone. Alexander was not just a warrior, he was a brilliant strategist. He understood that brute force alone would not win this battle. He needed to outthink his opponents and adapt to their tactics. He gathered his engineers and strategists to come up with innovative solutions to the challenges they faced. He ordered the construction of massive siege towers, fitted with catapults and other siege engines. These towers were designed to protect his workers from the constant attacks and to provide a platform from which his soldiers could launch their own assaults. The catapults could hurl large stones and other projectiles at the defenders, keeping them at bay while the causeway was being built. To protect his workers and fight back against Tyre's attacks, Alexander also used protective screens and other defensive measures. These screens shielded the workers from arrows and other projectiles, allowing them to continue their work with some degree of safety. The combination of offensive and defensive tactics was crucial to the success of the siege. It wasn't just brute force, it was innovation. Alexander's ability to adapt and innovate in the face of adversity was one of his greatest strengths. He constantly sought new ways to overcome the obstacles in his path, whether through new technologies, strategies, or tactics. This relentless pursuit of innovation kept his enemies off balance and allowed him to achieve his goals. Alexander thought like a chess master, always planning several moves ahead. He anticipated the actions of his enemies and devised countermeasures to thwart them. This strategic foresight was a key factor in his many victories. He was not just reacting to the situation, he was actively shaping it to his advantage. Staying one step ahead of his enemy, Alexander was able to maintain the initiative. The Tyrians were constantly on the defensive, trying to counter his moves. This relentless pressure eventually wore them down, making it increasingly difficult for them to mount effective resistance. And as the causeway neared the city walls, the Tyrians began to realize their worst nightmare was coming true. Despite their best efforts, they could not stop the relentless advance of Alexander's forces. The causeway was now within striking distance of the city, and the final assault was imminent. The Tyrians began to realize their worst nightmare was coming true. The city was on the brink of falling, and their hopes of repelling the invaders were fading. The relentless determination and innovative strategies of Alexander had brought them to the edge of defeat. After 7 grueling months, the decisive moment had arrived. Alexander meticulously assembled a formidable fleet from nearby cities, preparing for a colossal assault on Tyre. His army launched a coordinated attack from the causeway, while his ships relentlessly bombarded the walls from the sea. The relentless pressure on Tyre's defenses finally caused them to crumble. Alexander's forces stormed the city, engaging in fierce and intense combat. The once unconquerable Tyre had fallen, its streets echoing with the sounds of victory and defeat. The fall of Tyre was more than just a military victory. It was a testament to Alexander's relentless determination and genius. The siege had a profound impact on Alexander's campaign, solidifying his reputation as an unstoppable force. The victory at Tyre opened the way for his conquest of Egypt and the rest of the Persian Empire. The legacy of the siege in military history is immense, showcasing the effectiveness of siege warfare and engineering. Alexander's vision turned the impossible into reality, a lesson for leaders, dreamers, and warriors everywhere. Want to hear more about Alexander's incredible journey? Hit like, subscribe, and join us as we uncover the life of history's greatest conqueror. Dive into our channel for more epic tales of ancient battles, legendary leaders, and the events that shaped our world. Don't miss out on the adventure.